What's up guys, and welcome back to the West Side. Today we've got another paddle review, and this one I am really excited to show you guys. I've been waiting for a long time to show you this. I've got this paddle like about 2 weeks ago. I've been playing with it ever since. Today we're gonna be reviewing the brand new Friday Fever. This is basically what everybody has been talking about for the past 2 weeks. Is it good? Is it not good? Is it worth the price? Today we're gonna answer all those questions in this review. First, before we get started, let me know in the comments down below what paddle you wanna see me review next, and subscribe so you don't miss that video. Now, I'm just gonna go over a few first impressions about this paddle when I first took it out of the box and a few of my thoughts. Now, unfortunately, right when I got this paddle, when I opened it out of the packaging, I saw that my edge guard was actually lifted on both sides. On one side, it was lifted more than the other, but I saw it like immediately. That's just the first thing that I noticed, was my edge guard had a factory defect. Now, it wasn't that big of a deal because it wasn't loose on any other parts. I checked everything else. The edge guard seemed tight all around every other part. It was just these two sections. There's like one section right here and then another section right here where it was loose. I did reach out to their customer service. They fixed it, no problem. They told me that they can send in my paddle and that they could get me a replacement as soon as possible at no extra cost to me. So good on the Friday team for getting those things solved quickly. It's kind of a bummer to open up your brand new paddle and see that it's already got a defect on it, but it didn't even affect the way that it played. I wasn't really bugging about it too much. I just let them know like, hey, this paddle came defected. I also noticed that it's very light in my hand. When I first picked it up, I kind of just swung it around a couple times. It is very light. It's actually coming in at around like 7.7 ounces, but we'll get to that later on. Now that got me excited because that meant that I could customize this paddle a lot more, which I'm a big fan of. I love when paddles are light because that means I can customize it the way that I want. When a paddle comes in with a very heavy stock weight, it's kind of a bummer because that means that I probably can't put that much lead tape on it. This is the totally opposite story though. This has plenty of options for customization. I also noticed that the face on my paddle was actually kind of shiny. Like first I thought, is this actually carbon fiber? Or is this like a different material? Because it was kind of reflective. Like if I'm looking at it right now in the light, it's kind of like shining, not just on the paint, but on the actual carbon fiber. I thought for a second that it was spray on grit, and I was like, wait a minute, no, there's no way this is spray on grit. So it kind of threw me off just a little bit. And of course, the paddle design looks sick. Friday always kills it with their paddle designs. They have so many different options to choose from. With the Friday Fever, they have 4 different colorways that you can choose from. I went with the original Friday Fever color. I love red and purple, and it's a really sick sunset scheme that you've got going on here with this paddle. So I'm all for it. Now, as for the weight and dimensions with this paddle, mine came in at 7.7 ounces, which is average for the Friday Fevers. I ended up putting only 0.2 ounces of lead tape, one sticker on each side right there, just because I actually wanted to keep this light. Like I said before, I like light paddles. I don't like when they're very heavy. I tend to keep my paddles on the lighter side. That's just my personal preference. Only 0.2 ounces, so after I added the lead tape, it came out to be 7.9 ounces. This is your classic elongated paddle dimensions, 16.5 by 7.5 inches. It's gonna be 16 millimeters thick, which is perfect for this paddle because it's gonna play exactly like an all-court paddle. So having it 16 millimeters is gonna be the sweet spot. It also has a 5.5 inch long handle, and then the grip circumference is gonna be 4.25. So yeah, your typical dimensions for an elongated paddle. Now what makes this Friday Fever so special is that it is going to be constructed as a Gen 3 thermoformed paddle. This is a big deal because as you guys know it right now, if you're in the market for a Gen 3 paddle, you're gonna spend at least $200 if you want a really strong, powerful paddle. This is going to knock down a lot of that competition by coming in at $99 as the entry price for now. And this is gonna be the cheapest Gen 3 thermoform paddle that you can find right now out in the market. This is just basically gonna undercut so many different companies, which I'm really excited for because I'm sure you feel the same way as me. All these Gen 3 paddles are way too expensive in the first place. So I'm glad to see that there's one company that's still doing it right, where they can offer a cheaper option without cutting corners. The difference between the original Friday paddle and this Friday Fever is the fact that it has this dual edge foam. So it's foam injected all around the edges on this top layer right here, almost like a horseshoe. It's gonna help out with the power. It's gonna make it feel much more like a power paddle, like a Gen 3 paddle, like all the other ones out there on the market, with a little bit of a twist. Moving on to the performance, we'll start with the pros. This paddle just feels crisp. It feels very clean when you hit the paddle. It has a nice sound to it. So paddle feel is gonna be an A+ for me. I actually really like the way this paddle feels when you compare it to like a Carbon True Foam 2. That's a very muted paddle. This is gonna be on the opposite side of the spectrum. You can definitely feel the ball. You can feel when you hit an off hit. You can feel when you hit the sweet spot. And that's exactly what I like from my paddles is feeling more connected to it, and this is exactly what it gives me. It also has that really low swing weight. Like I said, I don't have the exact numbers, but the fact that this paddle is 7.7 ounces coming in as the stock weight is a really, really good thing, at least for me. I know most people don't customize their paddles, but for those of you guys that do like to customize your paddles, this is gonna offer you a lot of options. Even if you don't like to customize your paddle, this is a paddle that you can just take out of the box and start playing with it from day one. No customization needed. You can just pick it up and play good with it. That's a big deciding factor on whether or not a paddle is good. If a paddle relies too much on lead tape or customizing it to make it good, then is it really good in the first place if you have to customize it that much? Because again, keep in mind, not everybody plays like a pro, not everybody does their own over grip, not everybody adds all this lead tape on the sides and stuff. So some people just like to play with their paddles as is. And so if that's you, this is gonna be totally fine. If you like to customize your paddles, this is also gonna be totally fine. Now, as far as the power goes for this, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the all court category. I know they classify this on their website as a power paddle. It's gonna bring more power, and they are telling you the truth right there. It does bring you more power than the original Friday paddle, but it's not gonna give you as much as your typical Gen 3 paddle that you're looking for. This is gonna be in the all court category. I'd put it like in mid all court, which is a good thing. This is not a bad thing. I think that this is a good thing because for most people, again, these are people that are just probably barely getting into pickleball. They want a power paddle. They've never played with a power paddle before. This is gonna give you the right amount of power. Because when you pick up a paddle that's too strong and you don't know how to play with it, it's gonna be the most frustrating thing to think, hey, I just bought a power paddle. I can't even control the ball. I thought this thing was supposed to be good. This is gonna take away that frustration by giving you control and power at the same time, but not overdoing it in the power aspect. I was actually surprised at how much pop it had at the net. To be honest with you, I wasn't expecting that much because it is a 16 millimeter. You're definitely gonna see a bump up in power from the OG Friday paddle. So if you're coming from the original Friday paddle, this is definitely gonna be an upgrade that you will be able to notice. I would say control is also pretty good. This is not in the control category, but it does have enough control for you to be able to control your dinks, for you to be able to control your third shot drops, to have those resets that you need without struggling with the power too much. And I think this is honestly what Friday wanted. It wanted to give you a paddle that had power without all the drawbacks that come with a power paddle. And I think they really struck a sweet spot with this paddle right here. This is gonna be really, really popular with everybody. I'm calling it right now. I think people are just gonna gravitate to it because it's just all around good. As far as the sweet spot goes, it was decent. I would say the sweet spot is about in the middle. It's not gonna have a super good sweet spot. It's not gonna have a terrible sweet spot like a Bantam or anything like that. I would say it's in the middle ground, which is, again, that's a good thing. If you get a stock paddle that has a decent sweet spot already, that means it's gonna be even better when you start to add some lead tape on it. So again, I added lead tape just on the sides right here just to open up the sweet spot a little bit. It's exactly what it did. I would say the sweet spot is like a good 6 or 7 out of 10 right now after I added the lead tape. It's exactly what I was looking for. And I added just enough without making my paddle too heavy. So I played a couple of days without the weights, and then I added my weights and played the rest of my time with those lead weights. But for the time that I played without my weights, I still enjoyed it just as much. I wouldn't say that my lead weights made a huge difference because again, I didn't put that much, but this paddle is very, very playable right out of the box. Now, although this paddle was all around good, there are gonna be some things that this paddle suffers from. The first thing being not enough spin. I don't think this paddle puts out enough spin considering the fact that it has this carbon fiber face. I know there's a lot more things that go into spin other than just the carbon fiber face on it, the dwell time and the foam in the inside and all those other things. But again, like I mentioned earlier, I think it has to do with the fact that this carbon fiber face is just more shiny. I think it's just smoother. When you can feel and hear the grit, but when I touch it with my hand, it just feels smoother. It doesn't grab my skin as much compared to my other paddles. Let's just say, for example, like my Agassi Pro, that has a lot more grit and texture when I rub my hands on it. Let me just say this, the paint right here on the side, if I rub that and I rub the carbon fiber, they feel very close in texture and grit, which is not really a good thing because when something's painted, you're expecting it to lose that texture. I don't expect my carbon fiber to be as smooth as it was. And I think this kind of played a factor in the spin being a little bit lower than expected from a Gen 3 paddle. Now, this next thing I'm gonna talk about, this is definitely my opinion. I don't know what it is. I don't like this handle. I'm not very picky with handles. I really am not. Out of all my paddles that I have up here, I can play with all of them just fine. The handles don't bother me one bit. When I grabbed this and I felt these grooves right here, I thought, okay, that could be either a really good thing or a really bad thing, because if they don't fit my hand well, we're gonna have a problem. And unfortunately, when I would grip it on this side right here, my fingers just land right on these edges on the side, and it would drive me crazy. That means I either had to choke up on my paddle too much or go lower than I wanted. It was not in the area that I liked. The only time that I could play with it where I felt comfortable is if I switched it over. Right there, my fingers fell in between the grooves and it felt more comfortable, but I just felt really held back. I just felt like I couldn't play my game that I wanted to if my paddle just so happened to switch sides. I didn't know I wasn't gonna like it this much. I thought it wasn't gonna be that big of a deal. The more I played with it, the more I noticed my hands just landing on these grooves where it just felt really uncomfortable for my hand. I felt like my hand was even getting confused at times because I switched my grip whenever I served. So when I would rotate the paddle, these grooves just threw me off. I just, not a fan at all. If I had the option, I would change it. I would just wrap it with a different overgrip, get rid of this purple one, so that way I don't have any of these grooves. I just feel like there's too much texture going on. I know you may say, well, don't you have a Hexacore grip? Totally different story. I don't know what it is with that grip. I feel like it's totally fine. It just fits into my hand fine. And again, this is all gonna be subjective. You may hate the Hexacore grip, but then love the grip for the Friday paddle. I'm the reverse. I love the Hexacore grip. It fits my hand just fine. I really don't like this handle. It's crazy to me that actually prevented me from playing with this paddle sometimes. When I wanted to pick it up and play with it, I was actually tempted to go to my other paddles just because of the way it felt on my hand. I think I entered into this new realm of being more strict on how a handle feels, because I just don't like this overgrip. Honestly, I really don't. If you're a person that doesn't customize your paddle, you may love this or you may hate this. I am on the strongly dislike side of this handle right here. Other than that, I could do a two-hander just fine. No problem right there. But just the way that it feels in my hand, man, I can't get over it. But I don't know, I've gone on too much with this. If you love this about the original Friday paddles, good for you. If you hated it, you're out of luck. You're probably gonna have to buy an overgrip and wrap it with something else. Now, another thing I noticed with the edge guard is that the surface is very smooth. It is painted. I don't know if you can tell, but I did scratch my edge guard right here. After I scratched it, I mean, you can immediately see white through the paint. Tiny little scratch on a hardwood floor, playing indoors. This led to another problem actually. My lead tape on the side, I was out of town, I was playing in Arizona. I noticed that the stickers were coming off. Maybe it was just the heat because it was like 109 that day. But then after I came back into town and I played with it, I still noticed that my lead tape was coming off, and I would just have to continue to push down on the tape. It was kind of getting annoying. I almost felt like just taking it off at that point. If you have lead tape, this may be a problem just because of the painted surface. It's just super smooth. You're gonna put lead tape, just be aware of that. You may have to kind of play with it a little bit and really push it down to make sure that your lead tape doesn't fall off while you're playing. Now, I wouldn't say that this is necessarily a con or a bad thing, but this does not have as much power as your regular Gen 3. Now, depends on who you are. If you're already a person who's used to the Agassi Pro 4, to the Bantam TKO, you're used to a Rhombus Ripple, if you're used to a 11624 Huarache X, this is not gonna do it for you, all right? You're gonna feel like this is lackluster, this is a downgrade, it's not gonna have as much power. You're gonna have to really generate your own power with this if you're coming from one of those power paddles. But if you are a new pickleball player, you're getting into it, you've never had a power paddle before, this is gonna be an awesome entry-level power paddle for you to play with at a great price too. So final thoughts on this paddle. This is a good paddle for a great price. You cannot beat the value that the Fever gives. It's really good. You're getting a Gen 3 paddle for $99. And I know some people are still worried about, well, is it gonna break? Is it gonna core crush? How long is it gonna last? What's the durability like? I really don't know at this point. All I'm gonna say is that you should probably expect it to last as long as a Gen 3 paddle normally did, okay? I still have yet to see any paddle that's been reviewed that's Gen 3 and did not have durability issues. The only thing that makes it an easier pill to swallow is that you spent $99 on this one instead of $280 or almost $300 on your Gen 3 paddle. It does come at the cost of lower power compared to the other Gen 3s, but it's still gonna give you a really pleasant all-court experience. This is gonna be a step up from your basic paddle that you might normally play with. If you're used to power paddles, you probably don't need it. If you've never had one, definitely gonna be a good choice to buy this one and kind of take that first step into that power realm of paddles. Now, I know the price is supposed to increase to $129. They extended the price for a little while. I really don't know how much longer they're gonna keep it. It's still at $99 as of right now watching this video, but it's gonna increase eventually up to $129. Again, that's still not bad. Paying $129 for a Gen 3 paddle, that's still a really good price. You are gonna get what you pay for and more. Overall, I really did enjoy playing with this paddle. I thought it was really cool to be able to play with a Gen 3 paddle that was as cheap as this. I'm used to holding really expensive paddles in my hand and being very careful with playing with them. This one, I really didn't care if I scuffed it up, if I dropped it, if I kicked it, whatever it was, because I knew it was only 99 bucks. I think at the end of the day, people are going to enjoy the fact that they can spend $99 and get performance that's close to Gen 3 without having to worry about breaking your bank and emptying out your wallet just for it to core crush in 6 weeks. For me, the biggest plus for this was the price. I love the fact that it's $99. This is gonna be their biggest selling point, and I think they know that. That's why they made it $99. I can confidently recommend this paddle and know that I'm not gonna get bashed in the comments for recommending this paddle, okay? Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for today. What did you guys think? Have you tried the Friday Fever before? Are you looking to pick one up? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys again on the west side.